we often say things like, oh, God is using me. I'm like, he's not using you. He's entrusting you with more. It says, if you're faithful with little, he will entrust you with much, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. So when we seek him, and then when we're faithful with what he tells us to do, Mary said to the disciples, whatever he tells you to do it. When he turned the water to wine, right? That's our only job. He made it very simple, but the things of God are always simple. They're just not always easy. So we have to be willing to step out into boldness and into obedience and faithfulness to what he's called us to. So my challenge to every woman is to stop thinking that because you have little children that you're not capable, or if you have a full-time job that you're not capable, or you don't have money in your bank account that you're not capable, or that whatever it is, like there's all the excuses, right? But one thing that the Lord did was he proved through me. I mean, I was a pregnant, nursing, busy, poor mom. Nathan was working all the time, teaching. We still weren't, we have a whole story where we adopted our nephew, and there were just all these financial things, and we were struggling, but I continued to press into the Lord, into the vision he gave me, and was continuously obedient, and he blessed the work of my hands. So I can't even take credit for where we're at right now, except that he gave me the ability to abide and to obey, and to, he gave me the ideas. Everything that MIG is now is birthed from his ideas, and I was just faithful with it, right? So stop thinking that you didn't have good enough grades, or that you are not the right kind of girl. I was a D- student in high school. I was homeschooled most of my life, and then went to public school the last part of my high school career, and was never the girl you would pick to be doing what I'm doing now. But we have to choose to become her. None of us are those people yet. I'm not the girl. I'm not the billionaire yet. I'm not the girl that's going to be who I am 10 years from now. But every day I have to wake up and choose vision, and choose purpose, and choose obedience, and then just don't quit. That's really what it is. It's so simple. And I want to see women rising and doing that thing without asking permission, without being like, well, I've had so many seasons of my career as an entrepreneur where I'm like, well, I don't have capital investment, or maybe I need these professionals to tell me how to do this. And every time I tried to do it the world's way, it was like, okay, Jamie, he says he's given us all things that pertain to life and godliness. The thing that he's created you for, he's already put it all inside of you. But now we have to, endure hardship as discipline. We have to be refined. We have to be developed and trained up in these things. And we have to learn and grow and do the work, right? And it's just as hard to stay mediocre as it is to go after the thing that you're called to go after. So you might as well pick the bigger thing.
Exactly. A mantra that's really been helping me a lot lately is choose your hard, right? So which hard is it going to be? You're going to choose the hard of staying where you are, where you're unhappy and feeling stuck, or you're going to choose the hard of doing the work to create the thing or create the transformation in your health, or whatever that it happens to be that you're pursuing, that you're saying is also hard. Well, choose your hard. So which one do you want?
Right. There's no excuse. When you're at the end of your life, you alone, I mean, our life is self-determining. We know that. So there is no, but I just did a post the other day. It was a post that I had 300 shares and hundreds of comments, and people like, yes. And then I was kind of shocked at the small percentage of people that were like, oh, that will never work. And I'm thinking we have to get out of our own way. We have to start asking the question, how do I make this work? How do I, God shows me an idea for a soap, a skincare company. I don't know anything about chemistry. I could have been like, but I don't know how to do this, Lord. Okay, I'm just going to pray that God gives me divine wisdom. No, that's part of the mistake that I think too many believers make is, I'm going to pray to make this thing happen. Well, sorry, you don't see Olympic athletes praying for muscle strength. They go out and they train every morning 8 hours a day. You didn't know what you know without going to medical school, right? Like we have to do the thing. I had to learn the thing. I had to figure stuff out while I was nursing babies, while I had babies with fevers. I had to just do the thing because I was hungry for change, and I was hungry for the thing that God showed me that was possible and what I was capable of. I wanted that so badly. And there's nothing wrong with, don't squash your desires, you know. Women are really good at that, like just putting themselves aside. But not only do you deserve, it's time to stop asking for permission. This is your mandate now at this point. Like there's a mandate. You have no, it's no longer time to make the excuses. You've got to get up and get out there and do the thing.
And what's really awesome about it too is when you realize that if you are pursuing the thing that God has put in you, the vision, the passion, whatever it is, if you are pursuing that thing, He will lead you in how to continue to pursue it to make it come to be. But you have to take the action, right? That's where the obedience comes in. And I always love to say, obedience is God's love language. So if you want to say, yes, God, I trust you. I believe you. I know that you're with me. I know that you're leading me and guiding me. And I know that you've given me this thing. Well, then my obedience to that thing shows my love back to Him. Right. And so obedience being God's love language, it's like, and then what's awesome is He will begin to do things with what you are creating that you could never do on your own. You could never have done. You cannot create the supernatural success, the supernatural impact that things are having when you are obedient to the thing that God has asked you to do. So there is a supernatural side that then comes with your obedience. You won't be able to take the full credit for everything that begins to happen because you're just being obedient to what He's done. And so now He is putting His stamp on what is happening. And this is what has happened with everything that I've done in Fit Plus Faith, which was also birthed in 2015. And then with the podcast coming out in 2018, and people will say, like it's done phenomenally well and it's impacted people in ways that blow my mind. And I was like, well, I didn't do that. I cannot take credit for that. God is doing it through what I've been obedient to do with what He put on my heart to do. And then the rest is up to Him. So you don't have to have the weight of everything on your shoulders either. You just have to say, okay, God, I'm moving forward in trust. I'm moving forward in faith. I'm doing the best that I can. And then you get the results. You get the glory. You get to do the amazing thing that I get to be a witness of. Things have happened and what God has done. And I just sit back sometimes and I'm like, God, I can't believe you're letting me see what you're doing and you're letting me play a small part in it. But I am not going to take the credit for it because all it's done is that I've been obedient to what you had me to do. And this is the fruit and it's amazing, right? So man, it's powerful. And I saw that post and I know exactly what you're talking about. And it does break your heart, right? When you see the limitations start to come out. That isn't possible. I cannot see a way, or I've tried before and failed. So now I have this block there, and so
exactly.
It's painful. Exactly. It's painful to see that as well. It's scary and sometimes painful to move forward out of that because there's a big trust factor. There's a big faith factor that you have to put your faith in action, put your trust in action. Okay. And that's a hard thing to do, but it's the only way that you're going to then experience the passion and the joy and the fruitfulness that you would not have been able to experience had you not crossed that barrier and move forward in faith and move forward with trust and with the obedience, no matter what it looks like, even if it seems crazy or funny. And so it's incredible, but I know exactly what you're speaking to. And so the Her Effect, you have your own podcast for the Her Effect podcast as well.
Yes. Yep. That's it. The Her Effect podcast.
So all of our podcast listeners here, clearly you love podcasts or you wouldn't be listening to this one. So make sure that you head over to iTunes or whatever podcast platform that you're on and search the Her Effect podcast and hear more of Jaime's passion and of what God has put inside of her, birthed through her own experience. That has to happen, right? We have to, our life is a culmination of our experiences, but it is in the hard times and it is through the transformation that we experience that begins to minister to someone else. Your story and your testimony of what you've been through and what you've overcome is specifically for someone else. It's never just for you. It's for someone else that needed to see what you have done and needed to hear what you've been through, to give them the strength and to give them the confidence and the boost that they need to move forward for themselves too. So we cannot keep these things inside, because that means you're stopping someone else from reaching their transformation.
Yes. Yes. Amen.
It's so
That's
powerful.
right.
It's so powerful. So we've talked about the big visions that you see, the worldwide impact that continues, that you want to see happen through MIG, and that you know God will do and will lead us in that direction. And it's so exciting to be a part of that journey. And then I'd love for you to touch on a little bit of the beauty rebellion idea here, because that's so powerful.
Yeah.
That is still in the developing stages too, but you will hear more about it. And so I would love for you to share a little bit about beauty rebellion, and then we'll wrap it up.
Absolutely. Yeah. So everything we're talking about, the greenwashing and the mainstream old ways, well, they're really not the old ways. They're the way, the man-made ways of there's two things. One is women are facing so much, it's like fix your hair, dye your hair, inject your face, fix your stretch marks, get rid of the cellulite. And I'm all for like beauty and your best self, but not at the cost and not at the expense of, creating death in your body. I'm like, what if we all, as a society of women, started to cheer each other on with gray hair and embrace the wrinkles and, age gracefully and embrace I've had 5 babies. I mean, my body parts are not where they used to be, but I've started to just love myself for what it is now and for what it's created, and coming and just loving your body, loving what she's capable of, and embracing her and creating a standard of love and acceptance on that side. And then at the same time, like, this beauty rebellion is about, let's stop the greenwashing. Let's keep government out of small business. When I hear about companies that are like trying to induct legislation on small skincare companies because there's a lot of freedom, and I'm like, that's the way it should be. I mean, we've got to, because what you have right now is you've got big billion-dollar companies who are saying one thing like pure, natural, safe, clean, effective. And then when you look at the ingredients, it's the farthest thing from the truth. But I tell you what, they know how to market to the population. And I want to restore truth in beauty. And so when you look at our ingredients, it's like, man, I could eat all of these ingredients. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Wouldn't taste very good, but just restoring truth in beauty and rising up and understanding that we as beauty rebels aren't going to stand for the greenwashing and for the fake marketing and the fake message. And we're gonna go after truth, and we're gonna speak the truth, and we're gonna love each other well, and be empowered to take our power back in our health, beauty, and in our wealth.
Yep, absolutely. And I feel like the beauty rebellion itself, when you think about not only the tangible, practical side of that, of being a beauty rebel, of saying no to toxic chemicals, no to things that may look pretty or say that they're good and natural, but when you look on the back, it's like, I can't even pronounce all these things, like clearly this is made in a lab type of situation. When you become to be
right.
Practical beauty rebellion from that standpoint, then no, I'm standing on nature, I'm standing on the healing benefits of what are in incredible botanicals and herbs and all the other things, the essential oils and everything that are in these products. And then beauty from the inside out, being a beauty rebel as well is the way you care for your body. It is, I'm going to fuel my body well because my internal health affects my external, the way things look,
Yes.
as well too. I mean, it affects the way I feel, and it affects from my skin. And so being a beauty rebel is so many multifaceted, loving and accepting myself as well, not feeling bad about myself because of the natural course of aging, not being so dissatisfied with what I see in the mirror that I'm so negative towards myself in my mind, and all I want to do is change. And then I am not realizing how beautiful I really am, that I am